The housekeepers. Discovery. It was a quiet morning at the RIT Sun Cancun. The hotel had its usual holiday energy. The pool was full of laughter as the music drifted up from below and everything in that warm golden light you only get here. But something felt different that morning, a heaviness I couldn't shake. An eerie silence seemed to lurk beneath the surface, as if the hotel itself was holding its breath, waiting for something sinister to unfold. Room 427 was on my list that day. I'd been by it yesterday and noticed the "Do Not Disturb" sign left hanging for days. But people were on vacation, they'd get up to do their own things, and we respected their privacy. So I hadn't thought much of it until I stood there with the cleaning cart by my side, listening to the silence inside. I knocked twice, that careful housekeeping call, and a bright voice meant to cut through even the heaviest hangover. Nothing. Just an unsettling quiet, thick like a fog around the door. It was on the third knock that I noticed the door was unlocked. I looked around, wondering if it was an accident. The D&D sign was still there. But then I pushed the door open slowly. My heart skipped a beat as it creaked, and darkness met me from inside the room. The curtains were drawn tight as if to keep the light out. "Ma'am? Sir? It's housekeeping!" I called loudly, my voice echoing eerily down the hallway as I slowly shuffled in. There were no voices, no hint of laughter or movement, only an oppressive stillness that made my pulse quicken. As I stepped in, my eyes adjusted to the dimness, shadows dancing menacingly in the corners. The bed was slightly unmade, a sheet crumpled halfway across as if someone had left in a hurry. Shoes were left in a strange pattern on the carpet, like someone had stepped out quickly, never intending to come back. A faint smell hung in the air, not the usual leftover perfume or sunscreen, but something far more sinister. No, this was sharper, something bitter and metallic that seemed to settle heavy in my lungs, making me shiver. I felt a cold prickle at the back of my neck, goosebumps rising as a sense of dread washed over me. Something was warning me that this wasn't right, a primal instinct screaming danger. But the smell, that coppery edge, the curiosity in me had to know, had to uncover the source of this foreboding. The smell grew stronger as I moved closer to the bathroom, each step making it harder to ignore the sense of impending doom. That metallic scent hit me again and again, stronger each time, almost sour, making my stomach churn. I whispered, calling out in a trembling voice, but the only answer was silence, an echo that seemed to bounce right back at me, mocking my fear. Then I saw it. A dark smudged streak trailing from the bed to the bathroom door, a line too dark to be anything but blood, sending a chill down my spine. My hands shook as I reached for the bathroom door, fingers barely gripping the handle, heart pounding in my chest. Every instinct screamed to me to leave, to close the door, to call someone else, but I couldn't move. But something stronger, a horrible kind of curiosity, pushed me to open it, despite the terror gripping my heart. The door opened slowly, and I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Inside, the light from the bathroom cast a faint glow across the tiles, and there, lying twisted and still, was her body slumped in the tub, a sight that would haunt me forever. The girl lay there in the bathtub with her head tipped to one side, eyes half open and glassy, staring into nothing, a lifeless gaze that seemed to pierce my soul. Her skin was pale, bruises darkened along her neck and arms, and there on her wrists were dark, angry marks like she'd been held down, forced still while someone took the life away from her. The water was pink, swirling in lazy circles in the tub like some grim, twisted snow globe holding a nightmare. I tried to breathe, but the air was thick, and the smell of iron filled my lungs until I thought I'd choke. I backed up, my foot slipping on the tile, my eyes glued to her face, unable to look away from the horror. She'd been beautiful once, long dark hair, soft features, but now her lips were split, swollen, a tragic mask of pain. Her face held this look as if the last thing she'd seen wasn't of this world but something from the depths, something so dark it had frozen her terror forever. I turned to leave, to run, but something kept me there, staring as if I were in a trance, unable to break free from the horror. I wanted to scream, but my voice wouldn't come, trapped in my throat by the sheer terror of the scene. And then, as I took one last look, I thought I saw her eyes just for a second flicker, like she was still there, trapped somehow, watching me, pleading for help. But it was just a trick of the light, a horror that burned into my mind that I'd never forget, a nightmare etched into my soul. I stumbled out of the room, feeling the walls press in around me, the weight of the horror suffocating. Every shadow held a shape, every sound stretched out like a whisper, something reminding me of the awful truth I'd just seen, a truth that would haunt me forever. When the police finally arrived, I watched them enter room 427, their eyes hard, their faces pale as they took in the gruesome scene. They didn't speak much, they didn't have to. The horror was in that room. Every dark detail was etched into the blood-stained carpet, the walls, the tub. As they wheeled her lifeless body out of room 427, the chilling truth was out. Sativa True was just 26. She had been here with her boyfriend, Taylor Allen. They'd come from Washington for what should have been a sunny escape in Cancun. But just hours before, she messaged friends telling them she and Allen had argued. Her friends grew worried when she went silent after that. She'd never checked out, never answered. Allen had beaten her to death in a fit of rage. It was a crime of passion. It was something cold and calculated. The boyfriend was arrested, and his blank, indifferent face was all over the screen, staring right at us like he didn't care what he'd done. When I closed my eyes that night, I saw her outline under that sheet, a haunting image that would never leave me.